Hello. Today I wanted to share with you a client of mine, Nikki's journey of how we got her from kind of having this dream from 18 years old of stepping on stage to stepping on stage at 56 after going through menopause and all of the fun stuff that goes through with that, having two kids. And yeah, just her journey really. We're working together now for just under 2 years. And we've just had such an incredible time together. And yeah, I want to share this with you. It might resonate and just kind of see everything. So who is Nikki, apart from being extremely tanned when stood next to me? She is a high-flying corporate business woman. So she works a very high-end corporate job. She's very high up in the company. She travels across the UK. She goes to London most weeks. She goes to Edinburgh like a lot. And she also flies internationally as well. So she goes to places like India for work. So she's in a very high stress environment. She needs to be very organised to fit everything in. And obviously the travel as well. But yeah, she works a lot and she works hard. She's also a mum. So she's got two wonderful daughters. And they are kind of 16 and 14, I want to say. They have a very hectic schedule, as kids do, with after-school clubs. They need taken here, there and everywhere, and activities. And she's also got 5 French bulldogs, which is insane. So she's obviously looking after them as well. So very, very busy home life, very busy work life, yet still finds a time not just to bodybuild and do very well at it, but also to inspire other women. So that's the other thing about Nikki I want to tell you guys about, is like she just loves to inspire other women who are going through or have gone through very similar things with going through the menopause, looking after your health. And that's like such a massive thing for her, is going at everything from a real health-based focus and looking at like doing bodybuilding and doing fitness and stuff, but also making sure that aligns with being the healthiest version of herself at the same time. So how it started, this was her first check-in she sent to me. And me and Nikki actually met at the gym one day where I used to train. I think I was on the pendulum or something. She just kind of asked me like what I was training for, how the kit worked, a couple of different questions. And we just got chatting and she was like, do you know what? I've always had this dream. I've always wanted to step on stage. So I'm like, cool, let's do it. So that's basically how we met, how we started working together. And yeah, when she started working with me, she was very much lacking in direction. So she previously competed in triathlons, again at a very high level. But that kind of wasn't her anymore. And she wanted a new focus and a new goal to aim towards. She wanted to be able to build muscle to support her body. As we know, as women, as we get older, the risk of osteoporosis increases. And we kind of want to mitigate those risks as much as possible. And one of the biggest things there is resistance and strength training. So that is just one reason, but there are so many other reasons as well why building muscle is important. She also wanted to feel more confident in her body, and she wanted to do something that she'd never done before to challenge herself. So what did we do next? So we mapped out each phase of her journey. So we knew that the end goal was for her to step on stage, but she needed muscle first. That was kind of one thing. But we also wanted to do like a little diet phase, get her feeling more confident again, and just know where we were heading. So like I said, like this is a long game. Me and Nikki have been working together nearly 2 years. It's a long game. We then focused on body confidence. So I wanted to show Nikki how important it is to appreciate each stage of the journey. So we planned off-season shoots as well as prep shoots as well, diet shoots, and we just focused on the progress in the gym, the muscle that she was building, and just feeling confident within that. And that photo there is one of the photos from one of the off-season shoots she did, and I just think she looks incredible, and I'm sure you'll all agree with me on that as well. We also designed her training to bring more balance to her physique. So like I said, previous triathlete, but as you know, that's not kind of building balance that we want in bikini. And with bikini being her main goal, it was about bringing up those weaker body parts so her physique showed more balance when she stepped on stage. So the plan, we started off with the diet phase. So we wanted to get Nikki into a good spot to start a productive off-season together. So I had some idea of where she needed to grow, so her glutes and back being the main areas. But a diet phase just allowed us to see that more. And it also allowed me an opportunity to see how her body responds to a diet phase. And what I could see from that was that she gets very lean, very hard, very quickly. And that kind of then steered into where we would go from there as well. We then entered into a growth phase, so we were in a prime position to grow. We focused on bringing up her glutes and her back to bring more X-frame. We did an off-season shoot, so this is another photo from that shoot. And she found being in off-season really difficult, and a lot of women do really struggle with being in off-season. That little bit of added kind of fluff, as some people call it, can be really difficult. So for me, it's not just about making women, place on stage or feel really good when they're lean. It's actually making women feel really good when they're healthy and, they're muscle, like they're growing muscle and they're recovering well from the gym, and realizing to really love that side of the sport as well. So I often suggest to clients, like, let's plan off-season shoots. Let's feel beautiful at a time when we don't necessarily feel so beautiful. So that was really important for us. And before that shoot, she was like messaging me in tears, and look at her there, like she is just it's insane. And, it's something that I'm still very proud of her for. So once that off-season shoot was done, it was time to start prep. That off-season was done, it was time to start prep. And I knew from that last cut, obviously, Nikki can get in crazy condition. So I wanted to play to this. And I wanted to push hard from the off, like I wanted to go for condition. So we selected shows and classes which awarded more condition look. We also did do a few other classes that were just for fun, which I'll kind of go through in a minute. But by pushing hard from the start allowed us to bring that really hard, grainy condition that I knew she could bring, but then reverse into the shows. So that would keep the condition, that she needed, but whilst also bringing kind of like a fresh, bubbly look too, which is often lost when you're pushing hard for condition. So sometimes you'll see athletes that be super, super lean, but they kind of look like stringy. And that's just from pushing really, really hard for condition and not kind of pulling back and kind of feeding that muscle, I guess is a way to put it. And that kind of leads to a stringy look rather than kind of a full, bubbly, lean look on stage, which is what we want. So it's kind of that balance between push and pull. So this is how the season went. So the first one she did was a UKUP Wales show. She did both athletic and masters bikini there. That was kind of the two main ones that we're aiming for. So she won the athletic, which was amazing. And she came second in masters, which was a big lineup. So again, really happy with that. We also entered beginners and fit mums. Now we knew she would be too lean for both these classes. However, because it was her first show, I wanted her to jump into everything, experience everything, and just kind of dust off those cobwebs. The first show, everyone's nervous. So if you can do a show like UKUP where you can enter multiple classes for your first show, I actually think that it really, really helps people with their confidence. And it did. Like, she felt so much better then as she kind of went on, just by doing so many classes to begin with. And as you can see, when we did the UKUP Naturals later on, we just did athletic and masters because the beginners and fit mums, we knew she didn't really fit that. It was just more to get her on stage, get that experience, and to still come fourth and fifth in two classes, which are always really, really busy, was amazing as well. So really, really happy with that. We then entered the WNBF Super Naturals in Masters Bikini, and that was the 40 plus class. And she came fifth in that, and again, a massive lineup and an extremely high standard show. And got an invite to compete with GB over in LA, which was incredible. We then went on to do the PCA Naturals, where we pushed for condition a little bit more. However, for the Naturals, they actually just preferred a slightly softer look. So unfortunately, we didn't place there. But I think what we learned was going into PCA Naturals again, we'd actually do bikini trained instead of masters for that one. So it's good to kind of learn from each show as well. And then the UKUP Naturals, obviously going from the UKUP Wales, we knew she didn't fit those two classes. We just went into athletic and masters, and she came second and third in them as well. So a lot of really, really good placings over what was her first ever season. So like I said, a dream from when she was 18 to achieving it at 56, just incredible. So these are a couple before and after pictures, and you can see like the difference here, like not just in posing, but in like the muscle that we built. Obviously, the midsection's looking smaller. We've grown a lot more quad there as well, which you can see just looks wicked in that picture. More delts as well, and you can see through here like a lot more kind of roundness to the glutes there. Obviously, we got like really conditioned for that class as well. Again, here you can see more muscle being built, and then kind of the next bit, so how we approached travel and time management. So if you're someone who is a busy businesswoman, this is probably going to be really, something that you can kind of connect with. So like I said, she works a high corporate job with lots of travel, and we didn't want that to derail her progress. So what it was all about was then ensuring that she always knew what foods were on her plan before she went. So if she was going away, we'd know what she was eating beforehand, and her macros were also available. So if she needed to swap food, so if she was out in India, for example, couldn't get hold of a certain food, she could swap that with the same macros. And we spoke a lot about like how to track macros, making sure that we're still getting good food sources. Obviously, I'm always at the end of the phone as well for her, so she could message me whenever she needed to. She took travel scales with her and researched the foods that she'd be able to get abroad. So again, especially if you're traveling places like India, we need to know what foods would be available. And we then adjusted the plan accordingly to what food she would have. We had some snack-friendly foods from the go. So especially days with long travel and stuff, we made sure that we had food that she could fly with, and, that wasn't going to go off or anything like that. We then scheduled the week, so cardio and steps, whereas normally I'd have like a daily target for each person. When she had trips away, we knew they were going to be long haul trips, long haul flights. We would set weekly targets for cardio and for steps. So hitting an average for steps, hitting a count across the week for cardio as well. So we would still be getting in the cardio, we'd still be getting in the steps, but in a way that was actually manageable for Nikki. And the same with training, like we'd have to swap kind of rest days and stuff around, but it worked. You can see she got fantastic results. So where are we headed next? So like I said, incredible first season. She's absolutely fallen in love with the sport. So what is next for Nikki? So from this prep, we've learned that she is a little too hard for what some folks like. We kind of knew that going into a couple of the shows. But with this in mind, our plan is to have a good long off season before aiming for the bikini train class next time. So for Nikki, like she gets in that condition for bikini trained, but last year I felt like her muscle wasn't quite enough for in some of those classes. So having a good year off season now, we know that we will be able to build the muscle for that class in those federations and be able to enter a physique that's going to really stand out. And, she placed high this year, right? She's going to do it again next time as well. And I have no doubts about that at all. And basically this will now allow Nikki to come in a little bit harder to play to that strength instead of trying to soften her up for shows. And also of being someone who can bring that sharp condition and be rewarded for it. We're going to bring up her back and her glutes to accentuate that X-frame further. Nikki is sending me lots of training videos each week, ensuring her sessions are as productive as possible. So every time she checks in, she's sending me videos. We're going through it. We're improving where we can. Little tweaks here and there, and they're making a massive difference. So you can pause this here. I hate reading these out. But this is what Nikki said about her journey working with me. It's also on my Instagram and on my website if you want to go through and read any other client testimonials. They'll all be on there for you to read through as well. But this is just what she had to say about her journey. And, like I said, we've done incredibly well. So what's next for you guys watching this? So if you want results like Nikki, which of course you do, these are the ways to sign up and start working with me. So you can head over to the link in my bio or my website and fill out the form there. So on my Instagram, TikTok, there's all a little link there and you'll see the form. Click that, fill that in and I'll get in contact with you. You can also drop me a message on Instagram or on WhatsApp, my number's there, or you can email me at mollyjanecoaching@gmail.com and I'll get back to you. What we'll do then is we'll jump on a call, we will discuss your goals further, work out if we're the right fit for each other and create a plan of how to get there. I'll send that across, all your training, nutrition plans, supplementation, and everything else that comes with it. And I look forward to hearing from you and getting you on board the team. Thank you so much for watching this.